Good morning and welcome back to Planet AP. What we're talking about today is how to actually let go of your old world and quantum leap. Because most people, what happens is that they learn about the manifestation, they learn the method, they learn the ritual, they learn the quantum leaping process. But what gets to them is that they never actually learn how to let go of the box of their old world and live in their dream, desired, whatever reality, and stay there. Okay, because that's the key. Because why are we doing this stuff if you're just going to get a high out of this and then come back to whatever familiar timeline there was for you? Okay, so in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to show you, so that you never again go back to your old, different, wonky, wacky reality ever again, and you're actually able to live the life that God's highest will for you, that reality. All right, now let's get to this. Okay, so let's start with what happens what is a quantum leap, right? So one of the things that I want you to understand, the most important bit, is that manifestation is literally for something to go from the unseen to the seen. Okay, from the unseen to the seen. And this is an analogy that I want to explain to you. Okay, imagine there are these four boxes: X, Y, W, Z, whatever, right? Now what a quantum leap basically is, and what manifestation really entails, is that imagine this is you, right now you are emitting a signal, and this signal is basically attuned to the frequency of one of these alphabets. So for example, X. Now if your signal is attuned to X, Y and W and Z, they're unseen to you. Okay, they don't exist to your perception. Okay, so you're in your 3D, through your senses, you can't see them, but in the 5D, in the quantum field, they do exist. Because what do we know about creation is finished. So literally that reality that you beg for, that you think so hard over, that you're like, oh my god, I was so nice, is not something you need to create, birth, nothing. It already exists. It is just a different alphabet that you are not attuned to. Okay, so then what happens with people? Now let's talk about what happens when they quantum leap. Now when someone quantum leaps, they stop emitting signal X and they go like, okay, you know what, I'm going to emit W. Okay, so now this person now starts to send out the frequency of W, and they're like, ooh, W, yeah, this reality, hell yeah. And now X starts to get filtered out of their perception. But then they keep dancing back from X to W, from X to W, from X to W. So sometimes they're like, oh yeah, I'm all that. And then other times they're like, really low, like, nothing works for me. Where is it? Blah, 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 blah. But they never have like a stable field, okay? When you don't have a stable energy field, a stable frequency, a stable signal that you're emitting, think about what happens when you have shitty Wi-Fi. Right? When you have shitty Wi-Fi, things don't load. When you have shitty Wi-Fi, you can't download something. When you have shitty Wi-Fi, you FaceTime somebody, and then every 2 words later, you're like, you know what I mean? So that's what you're doing with your quantum field, with your energy field, is that you're literally signaling out shitty Wi-Fi. Okay, so then you get pissed off. Why is W not coming to? Because your Wi-Fi is shit, sir. Upgrade your services, okay? Because that reality cannot be materialized into an unstable energy field, an unstable signal. So that's kind of like, let's say this is channel number 78 and this is channel number 80, and both of these have like different movies playing, okay? Now instead of just switching to one movie, one screen, one TV, you every 2 minutes you watch this, then you come back here. Then you watch this, then you come back here. This is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. Every time you entertain a frequency X again, every time you entertain a thought from from a different reality. Okay, I don't like to use the word old, new, whatever. But if it slips out, it's a slip. Okay, but just know that I mean from that different reality, right? Every time you do that, every time you entertain a thought that is not equal to this frequency, this reality, this whatever, that's when you nerf yourself, right? So you keep going back, and of course, this shit cannot manifest in your 3D. Why? Because like it's like pick a team, babes, pick a team, right? So then how do we stop sending out a faulty freaking signal? Now what I want you to understand about this entire thing is that it's a very simple thing, okay? The very simple thing is that like this is you, awareness, right? And you can be aware of any timeline over here. There's infinite timelines. As awareness, you can become aware of any one of these infinite timelines, okay? Now, if you've been aware of this reality for like, you know, X amount of years, that's what gets played in the movie of your life. But every one of these is an equal choice to you. So the only question is, that this reality not preferred, then this is yes, that's what you want. So what you need to do is, as awareness, you observe in your inner palace. You observe the reality you want in your inner palace, because that is what is creating the movie outside of you. You need to literally be disloyal. You need to literally be disloyal to your old frequency, because so many people, they're way too loyal to shitty thoughts, way too loyal to Animal Planet when they want to be watching ESPN, and they're like, why do I keep seeing monkeys? Well, babes, because you're so loyal to monkeys. You're so like, I don't want to feel guilty about it. Okay, nobody cares. Literally, like you know that feeling of guilt is inside you. Yeah. But breaking news, you have the choice to actually, in that moment, to observe the guilt and be like, you know what? You know what, monkey? Not today. I'm not gonna let you. Because here's the thing, babes. Like, every time that monkey pops up in your screen and you go like, let me just watch this monkey. What are we doing? Are we on a monkey watching tour? Like, what are we doing? You know? Get with the program, right? We're not doing like an Animal Planet tour. If you don't want to watch it, khalas, break up with it. Be disloyal to it. So many people, like you guys, like, you hoard manifestation content and quantum leaping shit, but the one thing you don't get is that you're just, at the end of the day, way too loyal to your pain to actually make a leap, to actually shift in a different frequency and stay there. Because every 5 minutes you're like, but I feel bad about that. Who told you to feel bad about that? Why do you think it's right to feel bad about it? Why do you think that you're holier if you have like a shitty self-concept and you think low of yourself and things don't work out for you, versus like if things actually do? Why do you think you're more responsible when you're living a life in guilt and shame, and it's like, well, at least I feel bad? Okay, you're just gonna create more of that. Whatever movie you play in your inner palace is what plays outside you. Reality is listening to you. It is monkey see, monkey do. It is literally that. Monkey see, monkey do. It is constantly looking at you, constantly looking, not at what you're saying, not at what you're doing, not at what you're affirming in the little journal of yours, but what you're playing on autopilot over here, what you're playing day in and day out. What is the movie? What are the conversations you're having inside your head? Because listen to me, the conversations you have inside, you think it's just inside. Nuh-uh. That's what is projecting what's outside of you. That is what is creating the entire world outside of you. The movie, your show of Netflix of your life, where you're like cussing people out, and when you're saying that, oh, things are so bad for me, oh, my business is not working, oh, my relationship is so bad, blah, 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 blah. That is what you keep creating more of. If you, let's say you're starting out a business, okay, you've never fucking excuse my French, you've never freaking posted. You've never posted something in your life. Okay, you know what I would tell you to do? And this is like, here's what it is, okay? If you can actually apply the stuff that I tell you and not just listen to it like, I'm having popcorn and after this I'm watching another manifestation video, then that's actually going to change your life. Like, wallahi al-azim, if you actually apply it, right? So here's the thing, right? Now, if you're like, you know what, I want to start a business. Before you even start that business, before you do anything about that business, you know what I would tell you to do? Have a literal inner palace named My Business inside your mind and go visit that palace and go fall in love with that business. And you're going to be like, well, Anna, I don't have a business. I don't have products. I don't even know what I'm selling. I don't even know. I'm going to be like, well, who cares? You don't actually have to know what you're selling. You don't have to know nothing about how it is. Your job is to fall in love with the frequency of that channel, which means, in other words, your self concept. Who are you in that reality? That's what are people saying about you? What is the world? What impact has your business made? Anna, I don't know. Okay, well, has it maybe, I'm just being general here. It has changed people's lives. It has impacted people for the better. Maybe if you know nothing about the business, you just don't want to start a business and I want to whatever. Okay, you got an inner palace inside, and in that inner palace you have literally you've built literally a portal of your business where you're like, you know what, my business makes this much money and this is this and this is this and this is this. It's your imagination. No one's gonna stop you. No one's gonna stop you if you actually think that, oh my God, you know what? I am the greatest person to walk the face of the earth. You know what? I am the best at what I do. I am actually, because here's the thing. You can't have a shitty self-concept and say, I want an insane, amazing life. Unless you work really, 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 really hard for it, and you're not gonna enjoy it. God did not make you the highest form of creation for you to lowball yourself like that. Let's be for real, okay? Your job, your free will. What is your free will? Your free will is your will that God gave you to choose what you emit about yourself, how you perceive yourself, because your perception of yourself is your perception of God. And whatever your perception of God is what God will show you, create for you in your 3D, because that's a law of life, like gravity. I know, I don't make the rules. I just tell them. Okay? So now what your self-concept is the most important part. And once you've decided what you want your self-concept to be, I need you to understand that you actually don't have to entertain the thoughts in your head. You actually don't have to listen to this old frequency. You don't have to if it tries to go hey, let me give you a little candy, be like, no, thank you. No, thank you. Walk away, literally. The only thing standing between you and the life that you're constantly dreaming of is the fact that you keep dreaming about it instead of being it. Whatever it is that reality is, I swear to you, you are a different freaking gangster on that field, in that vision. But you keep thinking that okay, so I will think about what my future self would be like today. There's no future self. There's no, okay? That's ugly. If you come to me and go well, Anna, I've been actually thinking every day about what would, my future self do today? First of all, she doesn't exist. Now, the only thing that exists is the present moment. And what I'm talking about here, all these different frequencies, they all exist right now. So there is no future self. But when you say future self, what you're instantly firstly doing is saying that I am not her. I am not her yet. I am not her yet. Every time she's or he's still a future self, you're just not them yet. And then the whole point of okay, y'all need to stop acting like I'm here to be realistic. You are not here to be realistic. If you're starting out, you're not starting out. You know what I mean? If you're some people go I had a client who once went well, I'm starting a YouTube channel and I'm gonna hit my first 1K, that's my goal. And I'm that's ugly, I'm sorry, but no. Because that goal for 1K, you're thinking about it from this channel. A lot of y'all, the reason you don't quantum leap is because you do it you think about it from your lack. You literally, you instantly, before even the process begins, you put a limit to God. You're God, let's be realistic, I'm not that good. Bro, what you mean? Because the moment you own it, the moment you own the frequency, the self-concept, who you really are, who you truly are, yeah, it's gonna feel a little uncomfortable at first. Okay, and so what? When has discomfort ever stopped you? People get tattoos, you know? That shit is painful. That never stopped people. People stay in toxic relationships for years. You think that that's comfortable? No, they're always complaining about it. People are always doing things they are not comfortable with. Even to be broke is to live in discomfort. So then, who made you the freaking boss of what discomfort is uncomfortable and what's comfortable? Like, get out. Get in the game. Get your head in the game, okay? You're bullshit, guys. Because why is it that like you're constantly beating yourself down, and you're constantly saying, well, you know, like, I'm just trying, I've been begging. Well, first of all, that's the problem, okay? So you need to literally like get to know both the self-concepts. The other, I'll actually call it the glitch timeline, which is your current old one, okay? Your chosen timeline, okay? This you can call your dream reality or whatever, okay? Khalas. Now, in your glitch timeline, you gotta know who you're being, your expectation. You gotta know everything. You gotta know what your beliefs are. You gotta like really get with the program of like what is going on over here. Because what, like, you know, if this like self-concept says, I'm trying to change, it's hard, money is less, I'm scared, blah 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 blah. Okay, cool. Guess what? You don't have to listen to it anymore. You owe this glitchy timeline nothing. You don't owe it anything, especially not your attention, because all it's going to do is literally it's going to try to come through guilt and shame and this and that and anxiety and I'm afraid and I'm fear, and it will try to come and like get your attention because it cannot survive without you. And every time you feed it attention, you go back to this, creating more of this. So every time you look at the outside world and you let that world tell you who you are, great, game over. And this is like an example, the blue skin metaphor that I always tell you guys, is that if someone came to me and said, I hate your blue skin, I'm not gonna fight them. I would be like, cool, you're tripping because I don't have it. That's how rock solid your inner world needs to be, your chosen timeline, your chosen self-concept. Because if you don't tell yourself who you are, remind yourself every single day, anchor that shit within you every single day of who you are, the world will tell you who you are. If you don't tell yourself what to believe, the world will tell you what to believe. If you don't remind yourself of who God is, the world will tell you all the ways to think limited of God. And especially with our social media, digital, whatever, people are like, you know, frying your attention and you're letting them. Khalas. Why? This work, quantum leaping, I need you to get like, this is not about changing your reality. That's a fun little side effect. Always happens. Fun little side effect. It is about changing your essence. It is about mastering yourself. It is about choosing, declaring, living from who you are, who God sent you here to be. God did not create you and said, and a loser was born. That didn't happen. God was pretty proud of y'all. All of us. He was pretty proud of when he created us, he showed us off to the angels. He was like, hell yeah. The angels were like, they're gonna kill me. He's like, the angels were like protesting, right? But God said what? You don't know what I know. It's like, sit one out. You don't know. That's how much trust God has in you. And then you're gonna walk around feeling sorry and like a loser. That's all the devil, babes. What is sin? Sin is separation. Separation from God, from the unlimited essence of God, from like the infinite abundance of God. Every time you feel hopeless, every time you feel lack, every time you're living in scarcity, what are you really saying? Is that like that's a forgetting of who God really is. Why do you think God says, I am how you think of me? I don't change the state of a people until they change what's inside of them. Why? Because the devil's cardinal sin, the devil's whole point was what? Homeboy had something inside of him. It wasn't his action that God, in the whole ordeal, it wasn't about his action, it was about his inside. What is going on in your inside? Because to be hopeless of God is to be arrogant. is to not know God. To think that like God abandoned you is to not know God. And if you know God, then you could be mid-fire like Ibrahim alayhi salam, Abraham. And an angel comes to you and says, say the word, bro, I'm gonna blow this out. And he says what? He said, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. My Lord is sufficient for me. And God commands them. That's faith. That's conviction. You don't go by what your eyes tell you to look at. Because that's the ultimate test of life. Enough, like God is not testing you through like, dangling candy in front of your face or whatever. The actual full total test of life, it is your perception. Because even in the Quran, like God says that, right? We created man from like a drop of sperm, and then we made him see and hear. Sami'an basira. We gave him sight and hearing so that we may test him. So faith is the test of life. Do you rely on God? Or do you let your senses drive you? Do you rely on God? Or do you let the world tell you what to believe? The world tell you that, oh my God, I'm so poor, whatever. No, you're not. Not when you're one with God. When you live with God, life is different. And that's the type of conviction you gotta like tap into every single day. I don't care if you gotta come here, watch this video over and over again every single day, imprint this in your conscious, subconscious, mega conscious, whatever conscious, but live by it. Live it like law, because you were put on this planet to receive. You were put on this planet to actually live an expansive life. You were actually put on this planet to have a good time. You get one life. And it's so beautiful with God. But all the price to pay is your old story, is every thought that's fighting for your attention, every thought that tries to make itself seem so important that, oh, my friends are going to be mad at me, or this person's going to think I'm too Hollywood for them, or this person's going to be like, oh, like, you're so brand new, you don't sit with it. Okay, cool, so what? So what? Why would a person's approval matter to you more than God's? When your source of validation is God, wallahi al-azim, it doesn't matter. People can say what they say, do what they do. Khalas, nobody cares, because you're getting your validation from God. Your inner conviction, your inner knowing, your inner world, your inner connection with God. That's the most important part, because the more you rehearse it, the more you remember it, the more you memorize it, the deeper that gets kind of weaves in with your frequency, wired in your circuits. And then it's just who you are. But you continue to choose every single day. Wake up and choose. And there are so many ways to do it. But the most important part is you gotta be disloyal to the old self. A thought comes, just literally say out loud, khalas, I don't have to entertain. I don't have to listen to you. And actually, I'm gonna go do this instead. Actually, I'm gonna go do this. Break your state. Interrupt the pattern. Give that stupid little voice in your head, give it a funky little Mickey Mouse sound. Make it so in your head, disrupt it. Make it sound so ugly. Give it a smell. Give it a gutter ass smell. Make it so dirty that you don't even know. You're like, ugh. You are not a prisoner of your mind unless you forget your free will. So, you can't serve two masters. You can't serve this world and this world at the same time. You have to choose one and be completely loyal to it and let everything else go. Every doubt. Just treat it like it doesn't even matter. Literally, sometimes it's it comes in, literally physically do this. Be like, shh. Or flick. Yeah. That's from a glitchy dimension. Anyways, the reality I'm in, it's like this here. Literally, you have choice. Come back home to it. Okay? What are you going to do? You're going to be disloyal to the glitchy timeline. You're going to literally treat those thoughts imagine in your head, okay, the thought comes, here's a fun little thing to do, okay? Imagine you have a pebble. Every time a thought comes, throw it at the thought. Pew. Make it fun. It's not serious. The more power you let it have on you, the more it's going to make you feel, doesn't have to, bro. And flood yourself, literally align yourself every single day with who God is, who you are, what you choose to be, your self-concept, all of those things, okay? Khalas, that's it from me for today. I love you so much. I created a full workshop on how to quantum leap. It's called Quantum Magic, and it's literally like a step-by-step process with this and more details and some methods that I created that have worked wonders for me and people that work with me. Okay, so you can grab that from the link below. If you're watching this before 15th October, I have a 6-day retreat in Bali. We have 2 spots left. If you want to join us, it's 3rd to 8th November, and it is absolutely the most magical experience ever. You can grab the details from the link below as well. I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Tell me in the comments what your biggest takeaway was and what you're no longer entertaining. Bye-bye.